Okay, what we'd like to talk about today is the Cambridge First exam, and in this case, in particular, the speaking exam. So what we will do is look at all the different components. Part 1 is 2 minutes. This consists of simple questions, questions about your name, where you come from, and some very simple questions about what you like to do, different activities you enjoy, and perhaps some information about sports. Very, very general questions. Part 2 is the photograph exercise, in which each person receives 2 photographs and a question to answer. The instructions here are to speak for 1 minute, to compare the pictures, and to answer the question. When the first person is finished, then the examiner will ask the second person a different question. You should spend 25, 30 seconds answering this question. Then it's the turn of the second person, and the instructions are the same here, to compare the pictures and answer a question in 1 minute. And after the second person finishes, the first person is also given a different question, and you should take 25 to 30 seconds to answer this question. Then it's on to part 3. Part 3 is an interactive exercise. In part 3, even though it's 4 minutes, the examiner will not tell you it's 4 minutes. It's just the complete timing of this part of the test. So at the very beginning, the examiner presents you with the situation, with the question and the different options, and you have a little bit of time to read this. When this time is up, then the examiner tells you you have 2 minutes to discuss the options on this page. As I said, this is an interactive exercise, so what you need to do is to discuss each option. So each person needs to try to talk about one of the options before they move on to the next one. And you continue like this until the 2 minutes are finished. The examiner then will stop you after 2 minutes, and then you will have a second exercise where you have to make a choice. Typically, this is a situation where you choose 1 or 2 options, the best, the most useful, or something like that. Remember, in this part, you don't have to agree. Then we move on to part 4. Part 4 is connected to part 3 because the topic in part 4 is the same. It's the same theme. So, for example, as we saw in our example there, the theme was about travel. These questions here will also be about travel. What happens in this situation is that the examiner will ask questions. It's very important in this part to answer questions as completely as you can. Typically, what you find is the examiner will ask one person a question, and then when they finish their answer, invites the second person to give their opinion or to respond to what the first person says. Sometimes what they will do is they will ask both people to discuss the questions together. And then at the end of 14 minutes, that's the end of your test.